What's going on, everyone? What's happening? Welcome on into Coffee with Brodes. What's going on, everyone? How are you today on this Tuesday morning? I forgot what day it was already here. It's a Tuesday. Good morning on this Tuesday. We have some games tonight. Finally, last night it's like, what the hell am I doing? What am I going to do? I don't know what to do with my life. Now we have some action. We got the Phils starting off with the Nationals. We got the Sixers ready to go clinch that number one overall seed to make even those later games even more useless than they already are against the Orlando Magic. But I don't give a damn. Go get that number one seed and let's go. So, you know how it goes here on Coffee with Brodes. We got to do our celebratory cheers to having our coffee together. Is that even the right way to do it? I have no idea if that's the right way to word it. Here we go. Cheers, everyone, for being here today on Coffee with Brodes, and let's enjoy this cup of coffee together. Alex Smith says, thank God the Flyers are done. Philly for Life says the same thing. It's like mixed emotions, to be honest with you. It's like a combination of two things here. It's like, I'm happy they're done because it was dragging on. At the same time, the fact that I'm starting to see teams get ready for the playoffs and gear up for some postseason hockey, I'm a little annoyed and bothered that we don't get to experience that this year. Like remember Ivan Provorov's goal where he had that big time overtime winner and whatnot, and I was going crazy. I mean, those were great moments, and the fact that I'm not going to be able to get that this year is disappointing. It's so disappointing. So it's like, yes, I'm upset and annoyed and bothered because, here, same thing, Philly for Life. The Flyers with their last game golf clap is like, I'm upset because I want to see them compete in the postseason. I want to see Claude Giroux in the playoffs. I want to see JVR and Travis Konecny in the playoffs. But it was just such a terrible, terrible, terrible thing. Terrible, terrible thing. Terrible. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting offseason. That's for damn sure for this team. It's going to be an interesting offseason now that you know, now that you know that major moves have to be made. There's some interesting things going around about the head coach, about certain players, about the locker room culture. So we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see what's going on. But yeah, there's that. Where did I get that hat? I don't remember where I got this hat, to be honest with you. I've been looking for an all black Adidas or Nike. I actually have an all black Nike that is exactly the same as this hat. It's just clearly the Nike symbol. Where did I get this hat? To be honest with you, I want to say I got it at like Marshall's, to be honest with you. I think I did. I think I did. I think I got this bad boy at Marshall's, if I remember correctly. No, I don't do much for Villanova basketball. It's not just a bad night. Aaron Nola has horrendous numbers in that ballpark against the Atlanta Braves, which is a problem considering he's your number one guy on the staff and he can't do much at all when you're talking about going to Atlanta, your number one rival. So your number one staff guy is struggling to go to your number one rival's ballpark and succeed. So yeah, no, it's not just one bad start from Aaron. It is, and it's not. There's something to do. There's something that is in his brain when it goes to going down to Atlanta that he can't figure out. And if you go to some of his, I'm going to see if I can find it by ballpark because I know it's bad. I know it's bad. If I go to his splits career, yeah, I did. To me, it's like irrelevant though. I'll be honest. When it comes to Russell Westbrook and the triple doubles, like to me, sure, you might get individual statistics. You're not a winning player though. You might be explosive and work hard and whatnot, and I respect that. But Russell Westbrook, you're not a winning player. So I just want to put my thoughts out on there as I continue to talk about Aaron Nola because Philly for Life says you see Westbrook, but it's like, yeah, you know what? That's great. Congratulations. You've had a great statistical career. You don't have a good winning career. And I'm trying to separate the both. Like, yeah, it's awesome that you have that type of explosiveness and rebounds and assists and whatnot. You don't win a damn thing. You've never won a damn thing. You're never in the mix except for once when you were a part of the Kevin Durant trio with James Harden. Other than that, you've been absolutely irrelevant. It's the Ben Simmons triple-double when he gets 10, 10, and 10. Great. Whoop-de-damn do. Does nothing for me. Does nothing for me. All right, I'm looking for his split. Okay, here you go. Opponent. Opponent on the road, though. Can I get opponent on the ballparks? Here we go. I got it. Getting back to Aaron Nola. Yeah, I mean, but the Braves are the best team in the division, though. So it's not like unbelievable to think that they are going to go take the division. I mean, they are the best team in the division. So it makes sense. It's sort of like saying, well, the Dodgers are going to get on and eventually take that NL West. Yeah, probably, because they're the best team in the NL West. So we wouldn't be surprised if they do that, because it makes sense that they will do that because they are the best team in that division. What? They don't have. Why do they have it as. Hold on. Oh, okay, they had this listed as at Turner Field, but I'm looking for. Oh, okay, here you go. Got it. Got it. Got it. His ERA. What? What's going on here? I don't like the way that this is displayed. I'm sorry. I'm looking. Okay, ERA. We got it. He has a 4.56. That doesn't make sense. This isn't making sense. Not making sense. No. Anyway, his numbers are tragic in that ballpark. That's what I'm trying to tell you. His numbers are absolutely pathetic against the Atlanta Braves in Atlanta. The way that this is displayed, it's giving me his actual, which blows my mind. It won't give me ERA. It gives me his. Crazy. Anyway, regardless, not a big deal exactly on the specifics, but good morning, Frozo. What's happening, man? What's going on? Good morning. Good morning, everyone who's coming in here now and saying good morning. There's a lot of you in the chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Kevin says, Brodes, thoughts on the Phillies signing one more? No, Cole Hamels to me is done. Like, now we're starting to sign Cole Hamels. The guy's 97 years old and just hanging around. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, at that point, you're trying to get the same production out of a Vince Velasquez that you're getting out of Cole Hamels. I mean, you need a legit, you need to go out and get a series. I'm done with, signing fives. I don't want to sign another five. I want to go sign a fucking one. I want to go sign someone that can slide in front of Aaron Nola. I want to go buy someone or spend money on someone, go buy something like a Trevor Bauer. All right, I want to go get someone like that. I don't want another Cole Hamels where we're flirting around a Matt Moore, Chase Anderson conversation where we're talking about that. In terms of another position, I heard maybe we should go out and get a closer. Here's the problem. Every team at this point is in the mix. If you go through the MLB standings, everyone is flirting around being involved. So no one's just going to start making moves yet. So it's just going to take a long time for any of that to happen. And I don't even hate their back end of the road, the back end of the bullpen. I don't really hate the back end of the bullpen as much as other people do. But, because you see Hector Neris blow it, it's like Hector Neris sucks. Hector Neris doesn't suck. He's just an average closer. You have more options this year to try something new. Yeah, the problem is aces don't just grow on trees. You don't just get an ace. When Garrett Cole's available, you got to go spend over $400 million to go out and get him. So that's what it costs to get a real number one guy. You got to go spend legit cash, $324 million to be exact, with that 9-year contract for Garrett Cole. But you get my point. I hate the ace thing, though. The ace thing is starting to piss me off and bother me. It really is. The whole, he's an ace, he's not an ace. He's an ace, he's not an ace. I hate that. I really do hate that. It's starting to truly bother me. After every game he does well, all the ace supporter says he's an ace. After every game he falls on his face, Every non-ace supporter says the guy's not an ace. The guy is what he is. He's a very, very good pitcher. He's a very good pitcher. I hate it. I hate it. I literally hate it. Yeah, I expect more out of Aaron Nola. You need to go into that ballpark and stop the bleeding, and he fell on his face, and I'm annoyed and I'm bothered. I like Aaron Nola a lot. I think he does a good job. But I'm just annoyed with the ace, not an ace thing. That's all. It's like we're walking in circles with this conversation. I guess that's why I'm annoyed. At this point, he's 27 years old. Aaron Nola has been here for X amount of years. I used to toy with it. I used to toy and nibble around that conversation a bit. At this point, though, he's 27, and he's been pitching in Philadelphia for X amount of years. We know what Aaron Nola is. I don't want to talk about he's this, he's that, he's this, he's that. You know what Aaron Nola is. He's not the top of the top. He's not Max Scherzer. He's not the Garrett Coles. He's not the Walker Buehlers. He's not the Clayton Kershaw. He's not that. And that's okay. But can we stop? Can we stop? I hate it. I hate it. Wally asked, Brodes, would you rather see the Nets or the Bucks in the conference finals? Man, I don't have a personal preference. I want to say the Bucks scare me more with their full team-oriented style of play and the matchup based. Even though they have Kevin Durant and James Harden and Kyrie, believe it or not, I think the Bucks have a full completed or more completed roster, I should say, that might be able to give the Sixers more hell, which is crazy considering Kevin Durant is the more ready-to-go superstar to snag a championship from your hearts. So right now, if my gut tells me that I want to say I'd rather see the Nets, but that could be a horrendous answer, to be honest with you, because I think both teams are scary. So I want to say, like, if you ask me right now, my answer would be I'd rather see the Nets because I don't want to see – I think the Bucks are going to match up so – for the Bucks' perspective, so well against the Sixers that they might have a real chance. I think there's so many flaws with the Nets, and they just didn't have it this year. The injuries played a role, the depth of the team. Like, I think that maybe you can sneak by the Nets, even though they have the biggest superstar. Even they might have the two best players on the floor in Harden and Kevin Durant on any given night. So it's a scary thing to say the Nets, but I guess that's my answer. Which is scary because Giannis hasn't won anything. Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, these guys haven't been a part of an actual championship winning team. And that's normally something that scares me the most. Someone who's done it before. So I'm scared that that's my answer. I'm afraid that that's my answer. No, the Heat stink. The Heat stink. It's the same thing as the Boston Celtics conversation we had yesterday. At some point, it is what it is. Those teams are there for a reason. And I always go back to this. Last year, no one in this damn city thought there was a chance in hell that the Sixers did anything in the playoffs. Now, unfortunately, Ben Simmons ended up having that back problem, and you didn't see him play at all in the playoffs, and he got swept. So it's kind of hard to know truly what the team was all about. But the Sixers were 43-30 last year. 43-30, and not a damn soul believed that they can do a damn thing. So why all of a sudden is a team like the Miami Heat, who's 37-30, or a team like the Boston Celtics, who's 35-33, now because it's not the Sixers, they might be able to do something? You see the hypocrisy here? The Sixers last year at 43-30, everyone was out on them. No way they could do anything. Built for the playoffs, my ass. They're a 6 seed. They can't do a damn thing. Well, the Miami Heat are 6 seed at 37-31. No, they won't be able to win. The Celtics, 35-33. No, they're not going to be able to win. And that's right. There is news on Jaylen Brown that he's not going to complete the season. So, factor that into the equation, although I wasn't nervous for the Boston Celtics regardless. $2 donation coming in from Chris Sheehan says, can't lie. Look like the Phillies made you depressed? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's no denying that. I'm very vocal about my depression with the Philadelphia Phillies. Yeah, they make me depressed. All right, I mean, how do they not? How do they not? When you watch this team compete every night, how do they not get you depressed? I bought a gallon of ice cream just so I could eat out of the gallon because I was sad. I was disappointed. I was very upset. That's what this team does to me. It rips my damn soul out every single day. I mean, it is what it is. That's what they do. It's crushing. Yes, depressed. The team makes me depressed. They might lose tonight. They might lose tonight. You got Chris Anderson on the bump. They might lose tonight. Sad. It really is. Open ice hits today? Probably not. Considering this, well, the season did end. We're trying to figure out when the playoffs are going to start. We saw some things written that it might start the day after the season ends for the North Division, and Saturday some of the matchups might kick off. We don't know exactly when we're going to record yet this week. We're trying to plan that out now, actually. So, no, I don't believe we face Scherzer. I do not believe that we do. I don't think we do. You got this game night. I would like to think so, man. I would like to I would like to think so. If you are looking to donate through PayPal, which some do, hunterbrody@yahoo.com is the email address for PayPal that people utilize to pay. So hunterbrody@yahoo.com is the email for PayPal. I appreciate that. Some people do go through that route. So if that is something you're interested in, Kevin, I appreciate all the support. Thank you so much. Yeah, you need that first round tee. There's no doubt about it. That opens up that second round in a different way. You know, the fact that you can play a New York Knicks team, which it's funny. I see so many people on Twitter. The Knicks are for real. The Knicks are for real. You might get the Knicks. Want to watch out. Come on. Come on. You see John Lester Wheeler on the second day. You see Eflin versus Corbin, who has a 7.36 ERA on the third day. It's funny. Remember that Corbin contract? That Corbin contract, 6 years, $140 million. I definitely wanted to go out and snag Corbin that year, and he is having a disastrous season. So he's 1-3 with a 7.36. That's kind of your matchup for the rest of the series after tonight. Now, I agree. The Knicks don't scare me at all. The Knicks do not scare me at all. They don't have enough firepower. They're a nice story, okay? There's a difference between playing the Sixers for 7 straight games in a playoff series and then playing some regular season games to close out a season to go on a nice win streak. You don't have that talent to win. How about the Sixers a few years ago, right? What did they do? They won 16 straight heading into the playoffs. Awesome story. What happened when they got to the playoffs? They got their one round win. I think that year was against Miami, if I remember correctly. And then, or no, that might have even been the year they lost to the Celtics. Which year was that? Well, they might have even been the year they lost to the Celtics. So my point is, it's a different beast than when you're playing actual playoff games and going up against a 7-game adjustment series than just the regular season. So what was that? I think it was the Sixers closed the season on a 16-game win streak. The winning streak continued into the playoffs, ended at 17 when they lost in game 2 in the first round to the Miami Heat. So they did. They won a playoff series that round, and then they lost in the second round because they did not have enough talent that year, and that's what happens. That's what happens. Yeah, they beat the Heat that year. And then what they lose to? They finished the regular season 52-30. They beat the Heat in 5 games, and they lost to the Celtics in 5 games. Good times. Good times. Mr. 89 says, if the Sixers want to get to the finals, they can't let any prior go to 7. Oh, they can't let the finals go 7? Well, I don't know what makes you make that assessment. I don't know if I necessarily agree with you. What makes you feel that they can't win a 7-game series if it goes to 7 games? Because they'd be tired, so would the other team. I don't know if I can agree with this narrative here, Mr. 89. I don't have any fear of 7 games. If it goes to 7 games, it goes to 7 games. They have just as much of a chance in that series, as long as everybody's healthy, than anybody else does in that series. And keep in mind, if they get the number 1 seed, that game 7 would be on your home floor in South Philadelphia when you have your fans behind you, which is a huge part of having that number 1 seed. So, and look, I don't imagine, look, there's no first round series for the Sixers that's going 7. I don't think the New York Knicks series would go 7. I'll give the Knicks 6 at best, but I don't think it would be highly competitive as 6 sounds. And then the last one would be an Eastern Conference final. So I don't see it at all. I don't see it at all. Yeah, I don't see that. Kevin, I see you responding in the thing. Hunter Brody, no spaces at yahoo.com. Eastern Conference Finals, Game 7, 10 seconds left, down by 2. Simmons hits a 3 in Katie's face. Well, that's silly. That's silly. That's very silly. Thank you so much, Kevin. I appreciate all the support, man. I really do. No, that's not happening at all. What isn't a big sample size? Uzair, I apologize if I'm pronouncing that wrong, says it isn't a big sample size. Oh, since the year that D Rose got injured, we've only played 2 game 7s. Yeah, I don't see any. There's no way if they play the Hornets or the Celtics or any of these scrub teams in round 1 that they're going to play a game 7 in that series. I can't see the Knicks taking the Sixers to 7. Yeah, I could see them maybe pushing it to 6. I think that sounds more harsh than what it is, though. I could see it going to 6, but it not being that much of a true threat. And then the 7-game series could come in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Brooklyn Nets or a Milwaukee Bucks. So I don't even think that hypothetical that was brought up is even that realistic to begin with, to be honest with you. Yes, I do know that Jaylen Brown is out for the year. Yes. Between Ingram, Randall, and Lonzo, how much potential the Lakers gave away. Yeah, but guess what? You won a championship. You know what I mean? You get LeBron, you get Anthony Davis, you go win that championship, and that's all that matters. So it's going to cost something to get something. And when you get LeBron and whatnot, and you establish a team that goes and wins you a championship, it doesn't really matter. And to be fair, every team, this is the thing about Ingram. He might statistically have good seasons, and he might be scoring a lot of points. Every team Brandon Ingram's on blows. Every team he's on blows. It doesn't result in winning. It's like this Russell Westbrook fascination. The guy doesn't win a damn thing. The guy might get good stats. He does not associate himself with winning basketball at all. Ever. Never, 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 never. Not since he's turned into this triple-double threat. Once he became this triple-double threat, not a damn thing. Early, young, super young in his career with KD and James Harden maybe, but that's irrelevant to where he is now and where he's been. He doesn't associate himself with winning ball. Brandon Ingram, to me, he doesn't associate himself with winning ball. He's just a guy that goes and gets his. The Lakers sucked when he played for the Lakers. The Pelicans blow when he's on the Pelicans. Sure, he gets 30 now. Whoop-de-damn-do. Whoop-de-damn-do. Randall, look, I think Randall has grown into a nice little role. Here's the thing with Randall. He's like an in-between a 2 and a 3 guy. Like, if you talk about if you talk about a championship caliber team, where's Julius Randle fall on that list of players on that squad? It's not 1. It's really not 2. 3 might be a little too far down. It's like in between. It's a tweener. It's a 2 and a 3 on that. He's not like a 2, though. You know, like Kevin Durant and James Harden. Where's Julius Randle fall on that list? LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Where's Julius Randle fall on that list? Right? You don't win with Julius Randle being your 1 and 2 guy. It's just not reality. Yeah, of course there's teams from the West that scare me. It's just too hard to really focus on them because that's the final step. You got to worry about getting there. But yeah, of course, like it's so wide open this year. That's the thing. With LeBron being injured and Anthony Davis being injured and things of that nature, it's like who is in the West that is 100%? There isn't an answer. So I'm afraid of the Clippers because at that point they'd be playing insane basketball when they get to the finals. I'm afraid of the Jazz because their style of play, while I question if it works in the playoffs, it's been working to this point, and it is a unique style of play that's cruising. I'm afraid of the Suns. I'm afraid of these teams. I'm afraid of these teams because they've been showing that they're good teams. Now they don't have the. I don't fear them the same way I would fear going up against a LeBron. They don't have experience. The Sixers don't have experience either, though. Is my point. We don't have a polished NBA superstar champion yet. We have an MVP that's still growing. We have a player in Joel Embiid that's still learning and still adapting to that role of superstar MVP. You don't have that polished player. The other guys don't either, though. Donovan Mitchell is not. Devin Booker is not. Chris Paul is not to a championship level. He's to a professional level, not an NBA championship level. So it's wide open. To rule them out would be unfair if my logic is they've never done it before. So the Sixers have never done it before either. Yeah, but Danny Green and Dwight Howard's not your superstar. Danny Green and Dwight, you're talking about a bench guy that's going to get 8 minutes in Dwight Howard. And Danny Green is an important piece for sure. I'm talking superstar. Danny Green has been a nice role, an important role on a championship team. He's not Kawhi Leonard, all right? He's not LeBron James. Danny Green fit a mold. He's molded and groomed into a piece that matters. Without the other piece, though, in LeBron, or without Kawhi, you don't even talk about Danny Green that way, though. Am I scared to play the Hawks? Why would I be scared to play the Hawks? I'm not afraid of anybody until we get to the Eastern Conference Finals if you lock in that one seed. The Sixers are too good. The Sixers are too good. Gabriel, I think the 76ers have as much of a chance as anybody else does to go win a championship this season. I really do. I'm going to go look at the odds right now on my DraftKings Sportsbook. And by the way, you can download your DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code Brodes when signing up for all phenomenal odds and promotions boosts. So just saying, promo code Brodes. But I'm going to look it up on my DraftKings Sportsbook app, the odds for them to win the entire thing. They have just as much of a chance to do it as anybody else. Team futures, NBA champions. How about some disrespect for your Philadelphia 76ers, all right? The Brooklyn Nets have the best odds at plus 200. Then it's the Lakers at plus 400. Plus 550 for the Clippers. Plus 700 for the Utah Jazz. And then the Bucks and the Sixers are tied at plus 750. So in the Eastern Conference, the Nets, and throughout the NBA, the Nets have the best chance at plus 200 by a large margin too, which tells you how Vegas values the superstar tandem, how they value a Kevin Durant compared to a Joel Embiid. It is pretty disrespectful, but the Bucks and the Sixers are tied. Or you can look at it as, no, it kind of makes sense, because the way I look at it is, it kind of makes sense. It goes back to everything I've ever said about this league. What do you need to win? Well, it's crazy. The Brooklyn Nets, who have Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie, have the best odds. The Lakers, who they anticipate LeBron James being back, I guess. I haven't even had any update status on LeBron. To be honest with you, I haven't heard anything. I also haven't looked for when LeBron is returning. I know that I've seen something minor about LeBron, but see if I can Google it. LeBron James return. The Lakers may be cautious with LeBron James return with playoff fate nearly decided. LeBron James planning Lakers return for Knicks game. Report, LeBron James may return Tuesday versus LeBron. Okay, well, how about that? How about that? It's not ironic, though, that the NBA and the odds makers have a team with LeBron and a team with Kevin Durant and James Harden as your favorites to win. And then your next one is a team that has Kawhi Leonard to win. And then the teams that haven't done it yet before are the ones that are plus 700 and above. By the way, the Phoenix Suns, who are 2 in the West right now, plus 1,400 1,400 to win. Talk about the disrespect for sure. For the conference winner, the Sixers are plus 325. Some good odds on that. Plus 325 to win the Eastern Conference. No, you're right, Andrew. There's no real heavy favorite. You're right, which tells you it's open. It's an open door. It's an open possibility, which is exciting, which is going to make this NBA playoff run really exciting. You know, it's crazy. I feel I've been so bored out of NBA basketball as of late just because of the circumstances. Every team they play sucks. Every team they play isn't playing their guys. You know, all that. Everything we kind of been going through of just, it's been a snooze fest for this last couple of games. And even after tonight, what do they have? Like, they have the Pacers tonight at 8 o'clock. They have the Heat on Thursday at 7:30. They have a back-to-back Friday. They have the Orlando Magic. Then they have the Magic on Sunday. Once they clinch, when they do tonight, it's going to suck even more. It's going to suck even more. But once I get that first taste of NBA playoff basketball, it's going to be like there was a rocket shot out of my ass for excitement, you know? It's like same with hockey. Excuse me. With the Flyers, I think they just weighed me down so much, and I felt so low with hockey because it was so unwatchable here in the city because they sucked so much that once I get that first taste of NHL playoff hockey, I'm just going to be on a whole nother level and a whole nother tear of excitement for NHL playoffs that, I'm just going to be on another level. And I think it's going to be the same once that NBA taste comes back, Obviously, Ben has been heavily criticized for his past postseason inconsistencies. Do you think the lack of shooting will hurt our chances in the postseason? If his play is glaring issue, is he gone? If it's that bad, it's possible he's gone. I don't know for sure if he's gone, but it'll be the most realistic that it's possible. The problem is something else needs to be on the other side. You're not just getting rid of Ben Simmons because, well, he hurt us in the postseason. We're just going to move on from him. It has to be an actual legitimate option on the other side of the trade that would make the most sense for Daryl Morey to move a piece like Ben Simmons. And I would imagine also the front office has a lot of say involved because he sells tickets, he sells jerseys. There's a lot of play in Australia, brand recognition with Ben Simmons and the Sixers. There's a lot in play from an organizational standpoint as well, just to ship out Ben Simmons. That matters. That unfortunately does matter. That's been my question all year, though, Jake, when it comes to this team. Will it hurt our chances? Probably. But the question always comes down to Joel Embiid. When you have an MVP, you make up for your deficiencies. If the Brooklyn Nets win a championship, they're not a perfect team. Everyone knows they're not a perfect team. They have insane amount of flaws. But why would they win that championship? Because their all-star, superstar player made up for those flaws. They made up for those deficiencies. Their problems and their issues, your superstar takes you over the hump. Now, not shooting a basketball is a totally different level of your player. You can only do so much. Like if your player's not shooting a basketball, that's a problem. That's an issue. It's not the same as, well, we're lacking a shooter off the bench. It's my man isn't shooting a basketball. So there's a lot different in play when it comes to that. But the question is, will Joel Embiid be so damn dominant? Will Tobias Harris be that perfect Robin that the flaw of Ben Simmons is not as much on notice? That's what it is. There's always Aussie fans in the Sixers stream. NBA has most growth in US. Yeah, I'm just saying in general, like that does matter for sure. 500 yen coming in from Michael. Along with the TAT fund, I'll start a hammock fund. Have one in Stone Harbor. Oh, how about that? Wow. All right, well, we can do a Brodes hammock fund. That'll be super fun. We'll do that, the Brodes Tattoo Fund and the Hammock Fund. I'll have to give it a shot. I'll be honest, I don't think I have much experience in that area at all. But thank you so much, Michael. Yeah, after a big playoff win, maybe you go out on the hammock and you light up a nice little J or something. You get a little blunt going. You roll something up. You sit back, relax on the hammock, and enjoy the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Sixers. 10, 9, 8, 76ers. Playing on repeat on the Beats pill. I don't know, just spitballing some ideas. Have a Miller Lite next to me as well. Now we're getting a little twisted, huh? What's going on here? What's going on here? Maybe I'm going a little too far. I don't know. What do we got here? Green, bro. Imagine Twitter, Ben Simmons hoist the championship trophy. So many analysts, so many basketball personnel will be wrong. Well, that's not necessarily the case. It would matter if Joel Embiid makes up for Ben Simmons' flaws. It doesn't mean that Ben Simmons isn't still a problem. You just have someone that overpowered those problems. It doesn't mean that Ben's problems still are there, right? I mean, that's you can have a major flaw in your game, but if Joel Embiid scores 50, like if Joel Embiid is rocking the show and he's giving you 50 and 10, 47 and 12, and Ben Simmons is giving you 8 and 7, it's not wrong to say that. I mean, you're just winning because Joel Embiid is sensational and Joel Embiid is dynamic and dynamite. And it's irrelevant to what people said about Ben Simmons. Yeah, but that's you're changing. You're moving the goalposts. You're moving if Ben Simmons is. That's like saying, well, someone told me if Furkan Korkmaz or some of these players that don't play win a championship, you're winning because of Joel Embiid. You're not winning because of Ben Simmons. It depends on how it plays out. Is my point. It depends on how it plays out. If Joel Embiid is giving you 47, 44, 52 in a playoff series, and Ben Simmons is giving you 8, 7, and 7, you didn't win because of Ben. You're winning because of Joel, and Ben is on the team. That's a different story. And that's how I would see it. So it would be completely different if that was the case. If that was the case, it would be different. For sure. Imagine Ben and Joel running to each other, hugging after the championship finals. That's a sight that would make me tear up. The impact the championship would have on this city would be amazing. Yeah, you're not wrong. Especially after the Eagles debacle that we witnessed, for sure. $5 donation from Jonathan Himes. Nets fans are frauds to me. They downplay the need for the first seed and say they're just going to outscore everyone. Can they really outscore everyone? We're going to find out. To be honest with you, the number one seed, I've been saying this for a while, the number one seed is overblown. I think for the Sixers specifically, different story because they're younger. But when you talk about teams that have LeBron, you don't need the number one seed. When you talk about teams that have Kevin Durant, you don't necessarily need the number one seed. Like if they fall, I don't think they fall because they didn't have the number one seed. It's because, maybe they didn't have enough time to gel, or the injuries played a role, or the lack of the depth was a problem. I don't think they lose because they don't have the number one seed. I don't know if they're going to be able to outscore everyone. They have special talent, though. They definitely have special, lethal talent. That's for damn sure. So I don't know. I don't think it's fraud, though. I don't think it would be fraud of them. Because we're afraid. No? Like, here's the thing. We sit here as Sixers fans, and we're a little bit afraid. Like, oh, the Nets is going to be scary. Why do we feel that way? Well, because we're afraid that they can outscore us. And that's the thing. Ben Simmons is the most valuable with him. Ben Simmons is the most valuable with him. They never get swept without him. They get I don't know what you're trying to say. I'm a little lost on that. So maybe if you redo it for sure. I don't like the play-in tournament, Jake. I don't. I don't like the play-in tournament. You're pretty much battling to get beat in the first round. That's what it is. It's, hey, who wants to get their asses kicked in round one? Oh, me, no, me, no, me. Really? We're playing on who wants to get their asses kicked in the first round. I could live without it. Quite honestly, I could totally live without it. The Bucks and Sixers have dominant big man. If the Nets had the 1 seed, they would be able to bypass one of those dominant big men. Sure. Yeah, you get a different matchup. I understand that. I guess Giannis is your dominant big man. I guess when you say that, I just don't see him in that way. When you say a dominant big man, I'm thinking of Jokic. I'm thinking of Embiid. But yes, Giannis is a freak of nature that they are going to struggle with. But James Harden and Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving's are freak of natures that they are going to struggle with as well. But yeah, I agree with you. It is an easier road to get the number 1 seed. I'm just saying, when you have a LeBron, when you have a KD, when you have these type of athletes that are built differently, mentally, physically, and with their skill level and their talent, it's not as important to have that number 1 seed because they can do it. They can do it on the road. They can do it in big moments. They have the clutch gene. They can drop you 40. They can just get it done when they need to get it done. So they just have it differently. While with the Sixers, they're young. They're still learning. They're still improving. They're still adapting. They haven't hit that stride yet. They haven't been there yet. When maybe Joel is 30, that's when you don't have to worry about the 1 seed as much. When Joel is 30, 31, and has been to the NBA Finals maybe once or twice, that's when you already kind of establish yourself and you know what it's like and you can get through those road games and you have a different level of comfortability or, you're just a different level of comfortable out there on the floor in a playoff series in an Eastern Conference Finals. That's where the number 1 seed doesn't matter as much. Carson, well, the name here is Carson Wentz. I think 12 playoff teams is better than 8. The 8 seed game sucks and they are never competitive. The last competitive, and that was because of injuries. But why would 12 playoff teams make it better? So you're saying that 8 sucks. So let's make more teams in there that suck. You know what I'm saying? Let's add more teams that blow into the system because I hate the 8 seed that stinks. Let's add more teams that suck. Why would that be good? To me, I think that's terrible. Let's water it down and put more teams out there that shouldn't be. You guys are talking about Shake or Matisse Thybulle. Shake has been struggling. I'm out on Shake Milton playing. I like the 8-man rotation, starting 5, George Hill, Dwight Howard, Matisse Thybulle, and I could live with 9 and Shake Milton if that is the case, but I don't love it. Now, I think first round you're going to be able to get away with going deeper than I want because you're going to be playing a team like Charlotte or a Boston Celtics team without Jaylen Brown, and even with Jaylen Brown, I wouldn't have been afraid. You're going to play a team that's beatable. And you might be up big where you can throw in a late bench piece here and there. You might see that more. When I think of who I want for the bench, I'm talking about a legit series where it's going to be back and forth, tight battle, where you're not going to have the ability to go with a 10-man rotation like Doc wants to do. Could you work with a first-round bye? No. No. The way it works is like, it's like whoever's close to the 8th seed, you play a tournament to get the 8th seed. It's like teams that are close to the 8th seed play a tournament for the 8th seed, and then one plays whoever wins that tournament. So you're basically saying we're playing a play-in tournament for an 8th seed to get beat in the first round. And it would, I don't know. At that point, you're basically doing the same thing again. And then what would happen? And then you have to reseed. Nah, I don't like. I think I think you're just doing too much at that point. To be honest with you, I think Maxey. My gut feel says Doc Rivers puts him in a blowout in the first series. I think first round series, you're playing the Hornets. It's the 4th quarter, 4 minutes to go, 18 to 20 point game. Maybe you see a Tyrese Maxey. I do think that he tries to slip him in there somewhere so he can learn from experience or something of that nature. I think he does. I think not in real moments, not in crucial moments, in a blowout moment in the first round because the Sixers are going to cruise in the first round. Maybe that's when you see a Tyrese Maxey. Other than that, no, I don't think it will be in serious action. Maybe I'm wrong, though. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you don't see him at all because he's super raw, and that would be my, my assessment on it. He's way too raw for that. But yeah. Ryan, with all due respect, dude, with all due respect, what is Russell Westbrook? And to be fair, I guess Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris, in theory, hasn't done anything. But do you see the difference in winning basketball and non-winning basketball? Now, Bradley Beal is a dog, and I think he's more of a product of a situation more so than Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook's style of play does not result in winning. Bradley Beal's does. I think the product of Washington being a disaster is more of the Bradley Beal problem than the Westbrook problem. The Westbrook style play is just not winning basketball. As much as Ben Simmons annoys me, his brand is a brand that results in winning basketball in terms of getting his teammates going and grooving and the defense. The brand, the shooting is a flaw by far, but his brand is winning basketball. Toby, he's not like a go. He's your third guy. If he's your third guy, his style is winning basketball. Westbrook is not winning basketball. Westbrook is not winning basketball. So to me, I kind of laugh at this question. Me personally, I think it's kind of like hysterical that this was even brought up. Now, Westbrook does not associate himself with winning basketball at all. We got a €2. I don't know if that's a euro. That doesn't look like a euro. I'm bad with currency. I don't know what type of is that. That I don't think that is. Don't laugh at me. Oh, maybe it is. Maybe I was right. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. But thank you for the $2. What's your thoughts on Furkan entering free agency? I mean, I don't. It's someone saying it's pounds. UK pound. Okay. Well, to be fair, when you search euro symbol, it's like the E with two lines through it. The euro. Look, I learn everything every single day. Every day I learn something new on this coffee with Brodes with the currency that we get into. My thoughts on him is sayonara, my friend. That's me personally, though. Thank you. Adios, amigos. See you later. Sayonara. Goodbye. Later. Kick rocks. Smell ya. Whatever else you want to say. Get out of my face. That's me for Furkan Korkmaz. But I would imagine that Doc Rivers sees something that would like to have him back. That's me. That's me. That's my gut feel that Doc Rivers likes him. Doc Rivers wants to see him. Doc Rivers wants to continue to grow with him as he is I think he's 23 years old. If you look at Furkan Korkmaz's age, he is 23 years old. Wow, he's a 97. That's crazy to me. I would think that Doc wants to have him back in free agency, but I wouldn't want him here. But that's just my personal preference. Thank you so much for the donation. We got $5 coming in from Isaiah. The Nets feel like the Clippers from last year to me. They won't make it past the second round. Yeah, I mean, but to be fair, there's a big difference of being up 3-1 against the Denver Nuggets and collapsing compared to going up against a Milwaukee Bucks team that can go bang for bang against you. So that's where I think it's different. It's like, sure, you might be right where they don't get past the second round, but that's because they're going up against a team like Milwaukee compared to a team in Denver last year that was down 3-1 and came back and beat Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. So I do think that it's a little bit different on that front when you look at the context of it all. They might not get past the second round. This Milwaukee Bucks team is a legit squad. They got an edge to them, and the addition of Drew Holiday is significant. No, I don't think they need two. I think they need one. They need to win two of their last four. No, I think because of what happened last night, A lot of the beat reporters, and thank you so much, Isaiah. I appreciate that. Mr. 89, according to a lot of the beat reporters, I think Derek Bodner of The Athletic was the one that I saw, but a lot of the guys were tweeting it out. And I'll look for it exactly. Update. Sixers clinch the 1 seed in the East with a win tomorrow against the Pacers. So one more win and they get the job done. You're not trading for DeGrom. You're not trading for DeGrom, so that's somewhat irrelevant. Literally go from not getting. No, what are we talking about trading for DeGrom? Why would the New York Mets, think about this. Why would the New York Mets trade the best pitcher in baseball? The best pitcher in baseball, arguably the best pitcher we've seen over the last decade, to their in-division rival, the Philadelphia Phillies, who have no prospects, who have not, like, that's irrelevant. The prospect side of things. Why would you ever do that? Why would you ever do that? It would never even be a thing. It would never even be a thing. Ethan says, if the Sixers clinch tonight, what do you do with our big starters? I personally like them playing 15 to 20. Nah, probably not. You probably kick back and just relax, man. You don't take any sort of risks. I don't think the 15-minute risk is worth the reward, to be honest with you. So I know it sounds great in theory to get them playing a little bit. It's like, hey, you don't want to. I'm not even risking. I'm not even going for any sort of ankle twist. I'm not going for any sort. Imagine if that happened, seriously, in these back end of the games against the Heat, against who they play on Friday? It's Heat on Thursday, Magic Friday, Magic Sunday, all that nonsense. It's like, dude, it ain't even worth it, bro. Just not even worth it. Pags, my boy. What's up, Pags? What's up, dude? Pags with the $20 donation. My guy. Great stream today. Keep up the great work. No, you keep up the great work, Pags. You keep up the great work. You beauty. Thank you so much, Pags. You're the man, dude. I appreciate it. You are the man. I know you've been a big donate. By the way, cheers to you. That was me going cheers to you. I know you've been a big supporter of the Brodes Tattoo Fund. I don't know if you heard this 2 days ago or maybe, yesterday. It's only Tuesday. This was yesterday. We have a date set, June 17th. We are getting the tattoo finally colored. So we are going into, we're diving deep into the Brodes Tattoo Fund that Keith started, a great subscriber that started the Brodes Tattoo Fund with the donation. Everyone kind of piled along. So that will happen. And then from there, I want to get the top of my hands done. But the problem is the fiance said, and when they say things, unfortunately, it means it has to be followed. No tattoo on the hands until the wedding. I don't know what that big ones are. Yeah, I agree. That's why we're getting one. That's why we're getting two, actually. That's why we're getting two. No, I'm doing it. You don't tell me no. If the Sixers don't make it to at least the finals, do you think we make changes to the Matt, Paul, this is like a common question throughout, like what happens if they don't? Will Ben Simmons get traded? The problem is it matters what happens. It matters what it looks like. It matters how it plays out. Like there's so much that matters that we don't have the information that then changes our perspective on things. For example, would Brett Brown be fired if he didn't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals? Well, you lost in Game 7 on a quadruple doink against the eventual champions. He deserved another year after that because of how it played out. If he lost in 5, but in theory, like a more broad approach, but he didn't get to the Eastern Conference Finals. You're right, he didn't. But they lost in Game 7 on one of the most historical triple, quadruple doinks we've ever seen. That deserves another chance. It depends on how you lose. It depends on what happens. Random Gamer, the answer to this is yes, and I already have thoughts. Yes. Do the hands. Already happening. Could you imagine if we lost to the Knicks? That would be devastating. Can't imagine it happening, but it would be absolutely devastating if that was the case. Can't imagine it happening, But yes, it would be crushing. Could you compare it to the Phillies Cardinals? Could you do that? Could you compare that to a loss to the Cardinals in 2011? Um, 5 games. Good old 1-0. That good old 1-0 loss. I was looking for the date it was on. I don't remember the actual date that it had. Was it October 7th? Oh, the pick. Ew. Ew. Well, this article was written on October 8th. I don't know if the game was on the 7th, though. Oh, no. It's so weird looking at this. It's a picture of Ryan Howard holding the back of his ankle. What a story to read on NBC Sports Philadelphia. Just crazy. It really is. Wow. Just wild. Just wild. All right, everyone. Well, that's about it. For today's show. Coffee's all done. Someone asked if I saw Taylor Hall's OT winner. I don't think I did. I saw his goal earlier. Did he have 2 goals? I saw the goal backdoor. Oh, I didn't see it. Here's the overtime game winner. Let's see. Holy ew. Dude, Taylor Hall, what a pickup. Where was this in Buffalo? Where was this in Buffalo? My God, that was filthy. That was so filthy. All right, everyone. I want to thank you all so much for hanging out with me today on Coffee with Brodes. I appreciate it, man. We have, real quickly, we did, looks like Michael slipped in 500 yen. Would you go Freddie Mitchell tattoo him? Are you saying, would I get Freddie Mitchell on my hands? Is that what you're saying? Do I actually want to get Freddie Mitchell tattooed on my hands? Thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate that. 500 yen is $5. I found that out because I do research on this show when some of the currency comes in that I don't know what it's all about. And that happens a lot. Apparently, I don't know the euro. I don't know a lot of things. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. And I will catch you. We got 2 things to discuss tonight. Will the Sixers clinch? And Phillies Nats, Chase Anderson. Chase Anderson. Thanks, guys. See you later.